Sorry about last
Matt.
night, man.
Hi, Tim. Shit. It's been a while.
Matt motherfucking Mingle?
Matt
Right.
motherfucking Mangle.
Hey, look. What's that?
Ew. I bet it stinks. I can smell it from here. You know that's the same microphone that I fart into all the time. It is the same one.
It smells delicious.
I'll bet it does.
Welcome to episode 3.
Episode 3
of Stage Door Chronicles. We got a special episode for you tonight. We got some special guests for you from the legendary 80s cover band Less Than Zero is going to be here tonight.
80s tribute band, my friend.
My mistake. And who do we have? Who are we going to have?
We're gonna have Tim Gates, also known as Nico fucking Cloy from Dirty Tricks, and Matt motherfucking Mangle himself.
Matt, the mighty Matt Mangle. Sweet. It ought to be a good time. We're gonna just chit chat with them for a little while and see how it goes. We'll discuss their history and everything, and we'll go from there. So
Hope you enjoy it.
Hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, what are you guys drinking tonight?
I'm drinking
Whiskey
because you guys spent 10 years killing my liver. I'm down to drinking red beer right now.
Oh,
That
red
was-
beer in a can?
Ugh,
In a can, bro.
that's disgusting.
I know.
What do you got, Tim? What is that, Breckenridge?
Breckenridge spiced whiskey. Making myself a little old-fashioned here.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
I tried
You
drinking.
you did all your drinking last night, Matt?
Yeah. It was
That GPM episode's gonna be killer.
yeah, I think I overdid it a little bit.
Oh, it's good. It was great.
It was great.
It's all great. Yeah, it's all good.
I was hurting a little.
So I woke up this morning and my phone said 61 texts, and I started scrolling back and it had all this shit about Matt saying, "I'm too drunk to work this thing. I can't figure it out."
Yeah.
Man, you're doing me a huge service, first of all. But secondly, it's really an honor for me to have you be a part of this, because this is we've only done, this will be our 3rd episode, but it's been, the first 2 episodes are really well received for, what it is, which is the fucking it's the fucking local cable access fucking show of fucking podcasts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
So my question was going to be, what language is appropriate? It sounds like anything goes.
anything goes, bro.
Anything goes.
You know what? I dare somebody to fucking try to mess with my fucking First Amendment right to speak my mind. Please do not fuck with me, man. Don't fuck with me. I wore this for you.
That's fucking badass, man. That is sweet. Where'd you get that at?
Walmart.
Walmart? Are you shitting me?
100%.
They had that at Walmart?
Yes, sir.
Fuck. Walmart is redeemed.
So here we are. Less Than Zero.
Episode 3.
Episode 3. We got motherfucking Matt Mangle. Matt motherfucking Mangle.
Yes.
We got Mr. Tim Gates with us.
Tim Gates, also known as Nico fucking Chloe.
And Gustav.
Not anymore, man.
Y'all can
Gustav
see
von
check the
Catchhumper.
name. Check the name on my window.
So how you guys doing tonight?
Great.
I'm doing all right. I'm not drunk enough yet.
Yeah, well, we got plenty of time.
Right. By the end of the segment, you'll definitely be. If last night was any indication, we tried to do this last night, but I was having Wi-Fi service issues down in my part of town, so we couldn't get it all together. And then when we did get on, Tim couldn't get back on with us, but Matt did. So we did a GPM episode in which Matt, you'll have to watch it. It's going to be very fucking entertaining for everybody.
That's awesome.
Informative as hell and really entertaining.
I gotta watch it myself because I don't remember half of it.
Oh shit. So how's the weather out there? I don't know if you know, Tim. I am down on the Gulf Coast in Mississippi. So
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, I'm 1,400 miles away from you guys.
So when did you move down there?
We left Colorado back in July of 18. So I've been here a little over 2 years now.
No shit.
Yeah. And
How is it down there?
It's humid as fuck. It's cool though. It's nice, man. I like it down where we're at. I thought I was ready to get out of the cold. I miss the cold now. For how fucking humid it is here, I miss.
Hey, you won't miss the cold today. Trust me.
Yeah, is it cold out there?
It's fucking cold, man.
It was 2 this morning.
We had like a 7-day fall this year, and now we're into full-blown winter.
Full blown bullshit. 9 degrees outside.
No shit.
I was
In
checking,
the middle of the day.
I was checking the fire out there today, and it said even with the snow, that thing's only 10% contained.
Yeah,
That's
one of them
insane.
is 208,000, and the other one's like 140,000 acres right now,
Insane.
and they're pretty
man.
close to touching.
Right.
We're
Right.
only like 20 miles apart of each other.
Yeah.
That sucks, man.
It
It's
could
too bad.
could definitely easily become one giant fire.
Right.
I don't want to sidetrack this thing, but what took you down to the Gulf Coast?
Well, originally we moved over to Florida. My wife has a good friend over there, and we first moved over there. We got a house kind of sight unseen, which is never a good idea to do. We ended up going there. I mean, the house was fine, but the neighborhood wasn't so great. We just weren't feeling it there. And then I lived here in Long Beach when I was a little kid, so I brought my family over here to check it out, and they loved it. So we just said, screw it, let's move over there. So
Right on.
yeah, we moved over there. Moved over here. Been here ever since, and it's
Well, I hope the COVID environment is okay out there. I know it's fucked up for everybody. But
yeah, it's we're in one of the states where it's rising really quick, but you look around and
So are we all of a sudden.
but
Yeah.
people you would most people around here just act like it's not even happening. So I mean, and that's not everybody. I wouldn't say most people, but it's a good chunk of folks who just like they say fuck it, throw caution in the wind, and
if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, man.
yeah. So yeah, but anyway.
Sorry.
Yeah, back to it.
No,
Back to it.
back to LTZ. All right, so yeah, Tim, why don't you give us a little background about yourself?
There's not really much background to give band-wise. I think probably in '94, my brother-in-law had a real shitty band that he was trying to put together, and I went and listened to him a couple times, and picked up the microphone a couple times with him, and sounded just as horrible as the rest of them did. But I did ride motorcycles with a guy who I knew was a badass guitar player. I had met him through work and then through riding bikes, and I convinced him to pick up the guitar and come to one of the band practices, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
And when everyone saw him playing, we just all sat there going, fuck, that guy's pretty badass. This is John Saltz.
Right.
And dude has always known how to play. So John and I kind of decided that we were going to take the reins and form this thrash band. The main reasons that we had some of the people in the band was just for convenience because it was a cool place to practice and shit. But we kind of nurtured that along for about a decade. We ended up actually getting signed to a label out of Germany called Insanity Records. We were on a compilation from them, and they were doing all this promotion. We have posters and all kinds of shit. And just like a month before we were supposed to release the album, they folded. So
Wow.
that was my big experience with a record label. So
For those of you guys watching, we're talking about Positively Negative right now.
Mm-hmm.
Which
did I not say that?
No, you didn't. But that's okay. That's what I'm here for. Which was really one of the back in the day. Like we've already covered Pure Energy 2 and all that shit. You know what I mean? But back in the day when Matt and I were first in GPM, Posneg was one of those bands that we were like, man, that's the bar right there. As a matter of fact, as far as front men go, right? It was Tim and Jason from Clown. Those two guys set the bar for me personally as a new front man.
That's crazy that you would say that because
Oh no, it's
I
true.
I
True
never
shit.
saw myself like that, but I always looked up to guys like you. Matt and I have talked about this in the past where uh,
I was scared
we
of Tim.
really never
It's like,
got to know each other or introduced ourselves to one
No,
another
you're
because
to me, you're always the guy with the fucking bones leather
right.
jacket
And Matt said that he never introduced himself to me because he was scared of me. And I said the
Well,
same
yeah.
fucking thing because he had those braids and he had dreads and just intimidating looking as fuck. I weighed about twice as much as he did. But we were always scared of each other to talk to each other, which was crazy to even, yeah, there's Matt on his picture there.
Yeah, but I mean, I also got to spend 10 years with you weekend after weekend.
Right.
Well, you would constantly remind me of that bar. You know what I mean? That you set for frontmen way back when. You know what I mean?
Well, I think a lot of that was learned mutually. You taught me a lot about, don't get your fucking head all exploded here now. You taught me a lot about being a frontman just from seeing you in GPM for a while. But just having your presence on the stage with me reinforced my confidence over the years and to where I thought we worked really well together.
And it was I gotta say the 10 years we were together in LTZ was it was the pinnacle of my musical career.
I would agree
personally.
totally. And it's kind of crazy that here we are saying that because ultimately LTZ was a tribute or cover band. But I personally, I think that was more of a success thing for me than anything Posneg ever did because for one, I think that I was more instrumental in building LTZ than I was Posneg. John always had a real strong influence in Posneg, and I had some influence, but he kind of usually had the ultimate say when it was anything musical because I knew fuck all about anything musical, and still to this day I don't. So having people like Matt,
I always felt I always felt that that LTZ was yours and Matt's baby, but I also felt like there was no way LTZ was ever gonna make it or become the thing that it did if it wouldn't have been for you being out there in the front, dude. I mean, you really carried the rest of us for fucking 10 years, bro.
We don't have to make this a big suck off session, but I think
that's
all.
I'm just saying that's
the core of you, Matt, and I were kind of what the foundation of LTZ was, and without Matt, there would be no LTZ.
And for sure,
yeah,
we were always a constant.
Was Posneg your only band previous to LTZ, or?
Yeah. So I did that for 10 years, and when that kind of fell apart, I guess the whole band experience has always been different for me, just in that I'm not really into doing it unless it's something that I am just super passionate about.
Right.
I've had people in the past ask me to sing for them, and I was either too intimidated or, I wasn't into the music. I actually auditioned for Jag Panzer.
Really?
Yeah. And they asked me to join. They wanted to do something heavier. It was kind of in the era where they were phasing out Daniel Conca, who has a fucking phenomenal voice. If I remember correctly, he died. But at any rate, I went over and auditioned with them, and they pulled me aside and they started showing me European fanzines and shit, telling me how I'm going to be the guy who does all the interviews. Yeah. This is, you're going to be the front man in the picture, this fold out in this German magazine and shit. And I was just like, say what? So I got cold feet and I told him I can't do this.
Too much, huh? The pressure. Huh?
So I look back on that and go, fuck, what could have been? Maybe not, because they ended up rejoining with Harry Conklin, and nobody's going to really compare to that dude singing.
Right.
So if I had been involved, it would have been ultimately a heavier project, but it would have been cool, I think.
Yeah.
So Lala, the drummer of LTZ, and I got together and we formed LTZ, but shortly after that, I was involved in an industrial metal project.
That was a good record, dude.
Oh,
That's a great fucking record.
it's one of the albums, or it's the album that I'm probably most proud of from an album standpoint, because it's the lyrics on it. I still listen to them to this day, and sometimes they give me chills. It was a project called 6 Point Syntax, and it was this guy I met, Brian. Shit, I can't remember the dude's name. He was a real
We're sorry, Brian.
eclectic dude, and he had all this shit written that he met with me and gave me a CD. Literally handed it to me through car windows in a parking lot, because Bill Douglas had given each other's information.
Mm-hmm.
So he called me and gave me a copy of this song, and I was fucking blown away, because at the time I was into like
Didn't Bill Douglas engineer your vocals?
Yeah.
yeah, he engineered the whole album, and he actually put himself in the band. If you look at in the foldout of the CD, he's in the pictures and shit. And Carol today found an autographed copy of a 6 Point Syntax album, and he fucking signed it too, like he's a part of the band. But Brian would feed me songs, and I would write lyrics for him, and then I would go over and record them, and he'd let me do whatever the fuck I wanted in the studio.
That's exactly how
he paid for it.
That's
all.
exactly how Matt and I work.
No.
It's fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm. That's the best way to record. Just
Right.
have at it and then listen to it later.
So Matt, you were, as far as I know, you were in the band before I got in the band.
Less than zero.
So, yeah. So how did did Matt?
Well, I was
did Tim and
approached.
Lala then approach you?
Yeah. After probably 500 other guitar players that said, fuck that.
Whatever.
Really?
So
was it that many, Tim?
No.
Not to saw Matt off, but what happened was Lala and I, in Positively Negative, we had done. Lala was the drummer for Lesson Zero, the first drummer, but he was also in Posneg for a short period of time. So he and I continued to be friends after the band had broken up. So we had done stuff in Posneg like White Wedding, a heavier spin on an 80s song. I had gone out to a bar one night and I saw a local 80s band, to remain unnamed, but they sucked ass.
Oh, you're not naming them?
They were no, I'm not going to name them. They were fucking terrible though. I was shocked at how bad they were. So I got Lala together and we went and saw them again. And we just looked at each other and we were like, oh, we could totally
I don't know who
fucking
you're
do
talking
this.
about, by the way.
I think you know who I'm talking about. So when we decided that we wanted to make this band, we wanted an 80s band, but we wanted it to have a heavier sound, but still have to be able to identify with the original songs.
Right.
There were two guitar players that we would even consider, and Matt was the main guy because of his sound. And I didn't know him personally at the time, but the dude's fucking sound was...
Oh, wow. So that was a cold call for you, huh?
Well, Lala was in GPM at the time.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
Yeah. That's a trip.
this is like band incest.
Oh my God.
So Lala and I are looking for this guitar player, and he says Matt is into it, and I was like, holy shit, he's the guy. And then he tells me that Christian is into it as the bass player, but Christian was fronting GPM at the time.
Mm-hmm.
One of my most vivid memories of this shit was the possibility that I could be in a band with Christian and Matt. And we went to Union Station one night to meet Matt and Christian, and I just remember walking into the bar and Christian seeing both of us walk in, and he gave me like some kind of a fucking shout out, and I was like, oh my God, that guy just gave me a shout out. So Christian wanted to play bass in LTZ, and of course he's a phenomenal vocalist, so he could provide phenomenal backup singing in LTZ. Just added a whole nother dimension that I'd never even expected. But Matt and Christian were the guys for me. And then Matt tells me that, James Tagawa's into it. He wants to play. I was like, holy fucking shit. This is like some of the best musicians I've ever been around, for one, but some of the most phenomenal musicians in Colorado Springs.
You're too kind, Tim.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever, man.
No, he's right. He's right.
I thought we weren't doing this, man. Now you're like this.
Tim,
So
it's funny. I was telling these guys, there's a show, or not a show, you guys were still working on on the music for LTZ. You guys hadn't played out yet or anything, and Christian and I were working spotlight at a CC hockey game one night, and he was telling me all about it, right? And I don't remember what I was doing at the time. I don't remember if I was still in Chibet. I'm not sure. Maybe I wasn't doing anything, but he's telling me all this. He's really excited about it, really pumped about it, and he was saying something about it. I was like, hey man, well, if you guys are ever looking for another guitar player, man, give me a call. And he said nothing. I mean, he was so pumped the whole time. He didn't say, I was sitting there thinking, I was like, well, maybe you didn't hear what I said, you know. I'm like, hey man, if you guys are ever looking for another guitar player, give me a call. And we have the open mics, you know, that we talked to. He closes his mic. He's like, I'm not even gonna answer that shit. Fucking.
Oh my God.
To this day, I find that hysterical, man, because you guys obviously got the right people in it, man. And it was.
Well,
Shit.
it was, for me, it was right in my fucking wheelhouse. And because, I mean, back in '93 when I was in Idle Hands, we played a lot of those songs back then. And Kevin Rodella could easily attest for this. But even back then, I was always driving them to make our versions heavier. You know what I mean? So when the concept came, and this is why I never let anybody call us a cover band. You know what I mean? I insisted on people saying, you know, I insisted that we were a fucking tribute band, because to me, the way the songs ended up coming out was the way I wanted to hear them back when they first came out.
Right.
How many times have you heard that? Your version sounds cooler than the original version. I've heard that, and that's like, that's unbelievable that people would say that.
Too many times.
Well, to me, that's what one of plenty of things, but that's one of the things that made you guys so fun to watch and so easily watchable on multiple occasions. You know, my personal experience with some cover bands that I've seen, it's like cut and paste. No, they're just not into it at all. You know, they're just kind of just going through the motions. And coming to see you guys, it was like watching you guys perform your songs. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
That's what made it so good to me. That's what made it so good. And so easily, you know, I could watch you guys for however many times I saw you. It never got old.
Quite a bit.
It never got old. It was never like, oh, I got to hear the song again or some shit like that. It was great, man. And there's not a lot of tribute / cover bands that can do that. I mean, it really does take a talent that and you guys pulled it off, man. I was truly impressed. I mean, to the point, you know, Keith and I and Hefe had started a cover band. Ended up being the only band I've ever been kicked out of in my whole career. It's amazing. Yeah. Anyway, totally different story there. But we used to come watch you guys then, just as kind of a marker as to like, let's see what these guys are doing to you know, how you guys work the crowds, how you know, it was always exciting. You never looked bored on stage. You never looked like, even though you're doing it every weekend of the year, you know what I mean? Or however often it was. I know it was a lot, but it never seemed that way. You guys always had that passion in it. And that was awesome to see. It was really cool. And I
honestly don't ever over 10 years remember playing a gig that I wasn't super psyched about. I loved going to those things every fucking weekend. And on the off times that one of us was a little bit off that night, mm-hmm. This is the only project I've ever been in that the other guys carried them. Right. So if I was feeling bad or if I was, coming down with something, as much shit as Christian would give me, the fucking dude picked up the ball and ran with it. And Matt was always there looking at me, fucking grinning in my face. And dude, every fucking time we play some of those songs, especially, just I got goosebumps after 10 fucking years listening to Matt play some of those songs.
Yeah.
Just
right on.
Fucking
right on.
This is a fucking great story. It's 32 fucking Blue, right? It's fucking Halloween. We're playing as Dirty Fucking Tricks. Was it Halloween or was it New Year's?
Yeah, but it was the Parrot at the time.
Was it the Parrot?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was the Thirsty Parrot. And we're up there in our full fucking regalia for fucking Dirty Tricks, which was LTZ's alter ego, which we would bring out for special occasions, whatever, But Tim is fucking sick as a dog. Sick as a dog, where he's got a bucket on stage with him. He had the flu, or what was it, man?
It was a stomach flu, and I had called you about a couple hours before we went on stage and said, "Dude, is there any way that we can do this without me, or that you guys can do this?" And
Yeah,
you're like,
right?
"Fuck no, you can't do that." So I literally had a 5-gallon bucket on stage. I'd been hurling all fucking day. So
And he
go ahead.
did-
Oh,
He did about 4 more songs before he threw in the towel, and that was the only time we had some other guy try to, you know the case where you're in the club and the guy's like, he's gonna rescue you, right? Because he can sing. He's gonna save the fucking night because he can sing, right? So
Yeah,
what are you gonna do?
yeah.
You're gonna rely on his fucking word, and you're gonna give him the microphone. And what you gonna do? We had to stop early that night, but man, it was obvious.
He had the balls to get up and try.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
okay.
I mean, he did
So
give it his best.
normally Matt would play Eruption like in the 3rd set of the night. So we made it through about 2 songs, and I told Matt, play Eruption. And I went off the side of the stage and just woofed into this bucket. It was fucking brutal. It's probably the worst gig night ever. But these guys never held that shit against me. It was what it was. It was a Halloween night, and it was a big night. A lot of people there to see us, but we just couldn't pull it off.
Yeah.
Gig weekends were always something to look forward to, because you knew no matter how fucking the week was, you were gonna fucking
Get drunk?
be at a party. It was, and you know what I mean? I mean, another thing is immediately once we started playing out, the way the people reacted, you know what I mean? I don't know if it was nostalgia, the reminiscing about hearing those songs, or the fact that they were hearing those songs again with a little, twist on them or whatever. But the way people reacted to us really drove us for 10 years, because it was really, every fucking night was a fucking party, man.
Yeah, totally.
Every fucking night.
Now you guys, a lot of times you played multiple nights, right, on a weekend.
Every
Yes,
weekend.
Every weekend.
Yeah.
So
3 sets Friday, 3 sets Saturday, man.
now, did it ever?
Twice a month.
I feel like this is a dumb question, but was it ever? Did it ever become like, say, Friday night, you get a little too tipsy, and then you're hurting like a mug on Saturday? You know what?
They don't call it the fucking hair of the dog for nothing, man.
Yeah, there's times when even hair of the dog don't take care of it, man. I've been there before.
Sometimes it takes just the one. Sometimes it takes a couple. If it takes
we would get into a routine, and we honestly, on Saturday nights, after a Friday night pack of cigarettes and a bottle of Jägermeister and 12 fucking beers or whatever it ended up being, I would sing better on Saturday than Friday. And I don't know how I could do that shit.
He would be warmed up by Saturday.
That's impressive.
How? I have no idea.
It's true story.
But you must know your limitations.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
And
There were nights where we purposefully paced ourselves.
Oh, I definitely crossed my limitation just because there were so many damn free shots in front of me.
A lot of the people that were in this band did.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
it happens.
Very easy.
So Matt, how about you? What's your background? I've known about a lot of bands you've been in. I've been in bands with you.
Right.
Tell me your background. How long you been playing? What gives?
Well, I've been playing since I was 14, and I had done some party shows. Actually, one was with Dustin, who was in Less Than Zero too. Yeah. And my first real band was No Exit with Trent Golzinski, Keith Kieran, James Sagawa, Tim Steffens. That was really getting my feet wet, playing with Last Supper and Evil Genius and
Great band.
The Scene.
No Exit was fucking sick, man. That's like one of the first local bands I saw in Colorado Springs, and I was like, 2 left-handed guitar players that are full fucking awesome. This is badass.
Which is kind of trippy too, because Less Than Zero had 4 out of 5 of us were left-handed,
Right?
which is maybe that helped the chemistry or something. You know? Being weird, right brain people, but yeah. And then I was in a band called Sponge, and we did a nationwide tour as a punk band. And Rich Alleghine from Lee's Majesty, he played guitar with me.
Really?
In that. Yeah.
Crazy.
That was short and sweet. I was basically in it just to do the tour, and then I got kicked out because I was long hair metal guy, didn't belong in a punk band, you know. And then after that, I formed a band called Freak Show. short stint with that, and then it was GPM. And basically, when I got asked to do GPM, I liked it so much. I basically kicked Freak Show to the curb. It was like it was my band. I started it, and it wore me out.
So was GPM
Freak
your
Show?
project, or
No, Freak Show was basically my brainchild.
was GPM Chris's project?
It was Kevin Rodella, and I don't know, Christian could probably remember that. I wasn't around.
It started
from the
out
beginning.
as a studio project. Rodella and I were in Idle Hands together, and he started playing this music for me that he was writing, and I was like, man, this is shit. At the time, I was already, listening to bands like Frontline Assembly, Front 242, Nine Inch Nails. I was already into the style of music, but so it started as a studio project, and then Chris joined in. I don't know. Chris and I were working together back at Pure Energy. I guess that's how it was. Next thing you know, Chris and I are writing, or I'm writing lyrics, and Chris and I are figuring out how to do this music live. What we wanted to do was figure out how to do it live, because it was just a studio project for Kevin. He didn't want to have anything to do with it live. We were already doing Idle Hands at the time, and then apparently we had another guy that we were trying out on guitar that
Mikey! Yeah, Mikey from, God dang it, what the hell
I don't
is
even
that?
remember, man. I don't even remember this portion of it. But and then Matt came in because the guy couldn't get the timing of the sequences to help us write the songs. So Matt came in and sorted him out, and then really sorted him out, and then it was that's when it became GPM. We're all very handsome men.
Oh, you
Matt, did you change your clothes?
Yeah. I put my AC/DC shit on. Like, that's better. Yeah, GPM. And then, yeah, that was a pretty drug-induced, stupid, not cohesive, really, band. We probably did the dumbest thing. We basically killed the band because we kicked Christian out, which was terrible. But
I wasn't gonna bring that up, man.
right.
We
And
don't
then
have
we
to
had
talk-
some
It ain't
we
nobody's
had some
business.
member changes, and yeah, it was stupid. Anyway, and then Color Insane came around, and that was kind of like a No Exit rehash. Some of the members and
2.0.
Yeah, and then you were involved with that for a bit, Brian.
For the very beginning, yeah, I didn't stay very long because me and Tim Steffens were both in there, and
Is that right?
yeah, and I had played two bass thing, I think it was after that with Craig, and it worked with him, but with Tim and I, it just never never clicked together, and
Right. No, like I told you yesterday, you two were. I could tell you two were quite different.
yeah. But I mean, by all accounts, I've told Christian this. That's one of the, that album that you guys did. I thought it was great. I thought the Color Insane 2.0 album was a fantastic album.
It was
And
cool.
He did say it's one of his favorite local records ever.
yeah, that's a great record, in my opinion. Okay, so you did.
So that went on for a bit, and then Grinch Complex was in there somewhere, which was like a 9-member crazy band with 3 singers, 2 drummers, 3 guitar players, 2 bass players, and a keyboard guy.
So that was Chris, Danny Bristow, and Triton.
Yeah, and Chris was playing guitar.
Oh, okay, that's right. Not singing, but he did
singing.
still screamed, right? He was still doing screams, right?
He was, yeah, he was doing.
Are you
that.
talking about color? You're talking about Color Insane, right?
2.0? No.
Yeah,
Yeah, he played guitar. Chris Forsyth played guitar in that.
yeah.
What was it like splitting the band tab for that band?
Man.
Didn't do it. That never happened. It was, was back in Pure Energy and Forsyth. He'd be like, "You want a drink? Here, put something in the back and go hit it up whenever you want," kind of thing.
LTZ introduced me to what a fucking band tab was, and then it became a free for all to where there was no band tab anymore. It was just
No, they stopped trying to charge us.
we were selling the drinks to justify that, though.
Right.
No, for sure. I mean, we don't. Let's not get it twisted. As a band, right? The reason that we were paid so handsomely is because of the amount of alcohol we were able to sell.
Absolutely.
And every one of these, and this is why these establishments, some of these establishments would book us out a year in advance. A year in advance, man.
Yeah.
So crazy, dude.
That's awesome.
So crazy.
And we had the luxury of going in and telling them the weekends that we wanted.
That's
and
very
if there
true.
Was, if there was a conflict there, they would say, "Okay, well, we'll move such and such so you guys can play that weekend."
But that also goes back to them knowing that we were a guarantee for them.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was so good. It was so good, man. I mean, to think about it, man. How many years in a row did some people fucking celebrate their birthdays with us?
Yeah.
Man?
Yeah, when we first started playing, there were people that had kids, and then by the time we quit playing, those fucking kids had kids, to where it was a good run for sure.
Yeah,
awesome.
absolutely.
Yeah,
It was awesome.
It got us through the recession. It was secondary income
For sure.
And that's not what the intention was originally. It was supposed to. GPM was where Matt and Christian's focus was at.
Mm-hmm.
And I told them, I made sure that I stressed that, hey, this project is secondary to GPM. And then it just kind of swallowed GPM whole, because, it was like, I think the most weekends that we played in a row, we played 7 fucking weekends in a row, Friday and Saturday night. And one of those was a Friday night, Saturday night, and a Sunday night where we opened for the Fix.
That's right.
And throw in 6 other gig weekends in that in a row, and we would get in a groove to where it didn't fucking bother us. We would show up and get hammered both nights and be.
It was
easy because we were fucking professionals, bro.
Professionals.
Do not try
easier.
this shit at home.
It was easier.
It was easier. It was like
there was that one year where
breathing.
we had 4 fucking weekends off the whole year.
That's a good year.
2007, 2008 were packed.
Crazy.
Well, this is kind of interesting little story. Right at the end, I think it was 2016. Christian was, I don't know, wasn't paying his taxes or whatever, and I don't know if anybody's familiar with a K1 form. It's extra income that comes K1, which we were all W-9 from the club, so it was on paper, what the feds were getting. And Christian had this sheet, and I don't remember. It was like one night he showed up, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm getting my taxes fixed and all." And he showed us the total K1 for Lesson Zero for the 10 years, and it was $510,000.
That's because they tried to say in 1 year I made $250,000 with this fucking band.
Well, that was basically
somebody put the fucking decimal point. It was it was one of the early years where it was only like a couple grand, right?
Yeah, they were
turned into $250,000 in fucking taxes. Man, I'm like, you fucking shitting me?
Yeah, it's pretty mind blowing that over the course of the, just your social life being able to pay you like that, and each one of us having brought in over $100,000 each over the course of what we were doing. It's still.
It's
blows my mind.
It's a little bit more than that.
We should have made a savings plan. Put it.
No shit. No
I would
shit.
have my house paid off.
Right.
The Lesson Zero fucking 401k.
Yeah. a group savings.
Don't forget my shares.
Get my shares. How much?
There's a story behind that. Maybe Matt can tell that if he wants to. I don't want to. I don't want to step on anybody's dick here.
We don't have to go there.
We don't have to.
we got plenty of shit to talk about. We don't have to talk about this.
Let's not do the negative stuff.
All right.
We had. I mean, it was 10 years of fucking positive fucking happenings, bro. You know what I mean? Again, we did sacrifice, man. I mean, we never had a Halloween off. We for the
New Year's,
New Year's,
ever.
yeah.
Yeah, and I know that was always hard for Matt because I know that Patty always wanted to spend, New Year's Eve with Matt. But New Year's Eve, I guess for me in particular, because of what we would do on Halloween and New Year's in particular, there were just such ape shit parties, just the craziest kind of fucking party I've ever been involved with. And the coolest part was that I was the center of attention the whole night. So pretty much whatever I said was the deal.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. That was a pretty high feeling I bet you had.
Oh, fuck, man. It's crazy.
Well, it takes a lot of skill,
point.
though. It takes a lot of skill. Also, don't
Right.
sell yourself short. It takes a lot of skill to fucking work a room for 3 sets at night, 2 nights a weekend like that.
For
You know what I mean?
400, 500.
Not everybody can fucking do that shit
Yep.
and keep the same people coming back over and over and over again for years.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 300 to 400 people a night
Jesus,
coming in and
man.
out.
So what do you think? Do you guys have like a specific, like best gig or craziest weekend or anything like that you can think of?
I'll suck your dick, Tim.
That was terrible. That was an awful gig.
You want me to tell that?
Doesn't sound awful.
We played at Woody's, man.
Let me tell this.
Yeah, you tell.
Okay.
So we got a gig down at this fucking club off of Airport and Academy. It's a joint called Woody's, and once we got in there, the pay was good, so we went ahead and booked it. It was kind of it was off the beaten path, out of downtown.
We never played it again, right?
No, we never played it again. So we set our shit up, and the happy hour crowd had been hanging out in there while we were setting up, and they were pretty talkative and funny. But the band starts playing, and about halfway through the first set, an older lady, like past the cougar age, like probably close to my mom's age, is standing up in the front with a couple friends that are also older, and she starts making some fucking bizarre comments. So one of the things that she says is, "Pull out that big fat fucking cock and let me suck it."
I don't know. We might have to beat some of that. But.
So here's the kicker to the whole story. In between sets, I went up to the bartender, who was the guy who had booked the show, and I said, "Dude, you might want to put a cap on that older lady out there because she's out of control." And he's like, "Dude, that's my mom."
Dude, that's my mom.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
So she got to say whatever the fuck she wanted for the rest of the night.
Oh, she did too. She cussed the hell out of me. I was trying to put my guitar away. I was like, damn. All I could do was laugh, and the guys, her son's just standing there going, "Hey, don't laugh at her. That's my mom." She's like, "You fucking cocksucker, fucking motherfucking devil." That's just funny to me. I had to laugh. I didn't know what else to do.
What can you do? I mean,
God.
Fucking Woody's, bro.
I can't say that there's one gig in particular that really stands out because there are sets or nights that were just so phenomenal, random nights, just weird random nights. We would have nights where there's literally one of those badass blizzards coming through town. Mm-hmm. Some of those nights would be ape shit, crazy fucking people, just not what you would expect. And some nights were pretty dead because it's a fucking blizzard, but some nights you're like, what is going on here tonight, man?
Yeah. Winters were definitely harder.
Yeah, for sure. But you got to admit, a lot of those winter nights after the gig in the bar were some of the best times.
Yeah.
That's very true.
That's true.
Playing back east in Denver was always great too, man, because the accommodations were always. There were so many fucking drunken nights in that fucking condo, bro.
That was fun.
Did you guys play out of the Springs a lot? Outside of the Springs?
Probably 4 times.
Yeah.
We did the Pueblo.
Beast
hell?
Bash. We did the
Beast Street Bash.
The
Sangre de Cristo Arts Festival.
We did Foshing several years in Pueblo.
Yeah.
And then we played Back East Bar and Grill opened up a place right on the 16th Street Mall.
Indeed,
And
yeah.
those were pretty much the only reason that we played those gigs is because I had a
Baker
contact
Street?
that, yeah, Baker Street was awesome. I had a contact right off the 16th Street Mall that had a fucking sweet high-rise stay-in apartment that we could go to overlooking the swimming pool, and we would go and play the gig, and that was kind of the, we got to do this shit to get through the night, and then we would go back and stay up
That's
till
when
pretty
the party began.
yeah, pretty close to dawn, just hanging out, shooting the shit on the fucking patio. Those are some of my best memories, man.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. For sure.
What about what about any particular gig? Do you remember that just, whether it be nobody was feeling it, the crowd sucked, whatever the case is? Nothing that sticks out?
We did a couple of corporate shows where they tried to, they didn't know what, I guess the person who booked us for their event didn't talk to anybody else in the company. You know what I mean? It was one of those situations where,
they ask you to turn it down.
Oh my
do you have anything you can dance to? That kind of shit. And it's like, what fucking planet are you on right now?
Right? Yeah.
But we were actually, the nights that were bad, I think that we were actually able to impose our will on the people that were there, and we would flip that shit on people a lot of times to where
more often than not.
Yeah, I don't know if you're not forcing them to have a good time, but you start having enough of a good time to where they start having a good time as well. It's fucking nuts, man. I didn't think anything was like it was possible, but we did it a lot.
Yeah.
Like a really dead show where people are just sitting there watching you, but they didn't leave.
Yeah.
Nobody left. They stayed the whole night, and the bartenders were like, "Oh my God, I made so much money." Usually people they leave because the bands are annoying, loud.
Jaeger bombs help, bro.
Did you guys have any favorite venues, or did it matter?
32 Blue was
fun.
Thirsty Parrot.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was
probably the biggest stage in town, though.
Yeah, and that was in the earlier years of LTZ when playing the Parrot. It would literally take you the entire 30-minute break to get off of the stage, go to the bathroom, get a beer, and get back on stage. It would take you 30 fucking minutes to do that.
Yeah.
It was nuts. You just asshole to elbow. Everybody wanting to stop and talk to you. It was like, your biggest rock star moment.
Right.
It was freaking really cool. And the people have always, always, always been so cool to Less Than Zero.
Yeah.
For me, it was always Johnny's. And I think, when we decided to stop, and we were far from really being done, it was so great that we could stop. We could play our last weekend at Johnny's, man. Those last two fucking shows, as far as club gigs go, I have never played for more people in my life.
More appreciative people.
Right, dude. It was those two nights were so good.
There were literally people that I had met once or twice that were in tears.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, you're gonna get up and
crying,
do the same shit you did last weekend tomorrow morning. So, don't fret about this.
Yeah.
We're not that big a deal.
Yeah.
You guys had a great fan base too. I mean, a lot of people that would come out time and time again, right?
Women.
It was terrific. We had one group of people that always come out on Friday, and then we'd have a whole nother entirely different group of people that came out on Saturday.
Right.
So every weekend it was, a wave for Friday, a wave for Saturday, and they were constant.
And
no matter where we played, it was these two groups that would. And then there were some people that came both nights. A lot of people came.
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday.
And then coming from a metal background, the staggering amount of women
I knew where that was going.
Yeah, just unbelievable. And every weekend, the same people, and they would bring their friends. But some of the coolest fucking people I've
The
met in my entire
greatest,
life.
man, right? Fucking
Yeah.
LTZ fans are the fucking best, man. For sure.
Okay, that's great. That is awesome. So you guys played for a decade, 10 years, huh?
Yeah.
10 years.
10 years of 80s tribute. And they were, like I said, man, for me, they were the best 10 years as a musician I got. I think.
Likewise.
Well, you
Hell
know,
yeah.
I mean, I'm going to be writing music with Matt till I die. So that's a given. And I don't know if you heard any of the stuff yet, Tim, but
Yeah, we're getting ready to hit you up.
yeah, we're
Yep.
yeah, we're doing a record where we've remixed some songs off the 2003 album, and we've already rescued one song off of Toxic Shock, 96's Toxic Shock. So we're working on
might do another one of those, but
the Ultra Mix album.
Right on.
Yeah. So, but
I think we just heard some secrets.
yeah, a little bit.
it's not really a
That was-
secret that GPM was a 2-singer deal, and Tim is one of the best screamers, growlers, vocalists in town.
That's another thing, Tim. You and Christian together, and I know Christian's a wonderful. He can do harmonies like no males that I know anyway.
Oh my God!
Are able to do. But you guys sounded so good together. I mean, it was everything. It was, and again, this goes back to what I was saying earlier with the whole passion in it, but then just the tightness of everything and everything being together, and you guys' voices being just right in that vocal pocket. It was awesome. It was really good, man.
The craziest thing is I didn't ever really have an appreciation for that like I should have until after we stopped playing and I started listening back to some of those tracks that Matt had recorded on stage, because I would have Matt fucking turn Christian down so much and turn me up so much on my monitors that I could never fucking hear him.
But that's okay.
So Matt,
I mean, you want to monitor yourself as a singer.
Matt would always know. Yeah, I know you want more vocals. I know. Turn it up.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Gain is this is Matt's favorite line to me. Gain is not a volume, Christian.
Oh crap. So with that, with the knowledge that Matt has recorded some of y'all's live stuff, you guys have a video that we're gonna show. Y'all want to set it up at all?
Yeah, this is something that Matt put together, and he put it on YouTube, and it never got DMCA'd for some reason, which is cool, which is why I'm not afraid to put it on here. But maybe I shouldn't have said nothing. But it's just something he did on, I think it was iMovie or something. But it's a good representation of what we mean by taking an 80s song and kind of like fucking it up to be your own.
But the audio for it is straight off the fucking board, man.
Yep, straight off the board.
You
At
get
the
to hear
Holy Cow.
all the flaws and shit, all the drunkenness.
Yep.
Right as it went.
Yep.
Excellent. So before I show that, is there anything else you guys want to say to your fans or anything before we wrap this up?
Thank
Hi,
you.
Mom. That's my fan.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
Thank you so much. Thanks for 10 years of fucking 80s parties, man. You guys.
No shit, man.
Hey, thank you
Not
guys for
anybody else I'd
entertaining.
rather be a part of it with.
Thank you guys for entertaining
Hell
us
yeah.
for so long.
Loved it.
Thanks for doing this, Brian.
Yeah, Brian.
Oh, hey, that's Christian and I. It's great. I'm so glad you guys did this, man. It's been an honor. And,
We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys again on on the show.
Absolutely. We'll definitely see you guys again. So, other than that, before we get to the video, actually, here's the video from LTZ. Have a good night. See ya.
We're sitting in a cocktail bar when I met you. I picked you up, I pulled you out and turned you around, turned you into to someone new. Now 5 years later on, you got the world at your feet. Success has been so easy for you. But don't forget it's me that put you where you are now, and I can put you back down too. Don't you want me? You know I can't believe it when I hear that you won't see me. Don't you want me? You know I can't believe it when I hear that you won't see me. It's much too late to find. You think you change your mind? You better change it back or we will both be sorry. Don't you want me, baby? Don't you want me? Oh, don't you want me, baby? Don't you want me? Oh, I was once as a waitress in a cocktail bar. That much is true. But even then I knew I'd find a much better place, either with or without you. The 5 years we have been such good times. I still love you, but now I think it's time I find my way on my own. I guess that's just what I must do. Don't you want me? You know I can't believe you when I hear that you won't see me. Don't you want me? You know I can't believe it when you say that you don't need me. It's much too late to find. You think you change your mind? You better change it back or we will both be sorry. Don't you want me, baby? Don't you want me? Oh, don't you want me, baby? Don't you want me? Oh. Don't you want me, baby? Don't you want me? Oh, don't you want me, baby? Don't you want me? Oh.
By the way, you got less than a week to go. Everybody get out, do your civic duty, and vote.
Vote.
Well,
Oh,